Good morning. Happy Sunday. Welcome to another episode of the Heart to Heart Roundtable Talk. And here's me. I'm your host. I'm Anna Tai, the owner of Anna, the dietitian on Instagram. If you're watching on Instagram, well, the owner of Anna Tai Wellness Institute on Facebook. So I do this every Sunday morning, right? Stick to 7A. So what I kind of don't really have a topic, but I just go through the Facebook group and kind of look through some of the questions that you have. And my focus really on both my Instagram, Anna the Dietitian, and also on my Facebook um, page, my focus is really on helping women who's been struggling with weight loss for years, like the ones who keep gaining weight and don't know why and they follow everything that the conventional diet recommendation, like um, restricting your calories, work out a lot, or they have all these other issues to see all the doctors, all the specialists, they do all the tests and everything, and no one can give them an answer. They basically said everything is normal, all the tests are normal, and there's nothing I could do, just suck it up or get used to it. That's like the funnest thing that I hear patients tell me all the time. Like, oh, my doctor just my doctor's like, oh, just get used to it. I was like, what? Like, you don't get used to it. Some of the thing, like, if something doesn't work, that means that you need to start digging deeper for other reasons and underlying reasons. And then I mentioned about like labs. Like one of the things that I find very interesting is that if you go to conventional um, doctors, even I practice in a big teaching hospital. And a lot of times I have patients come to see me and I usually review the labs with them, like whatever labs that the doctors order or sometimes that I order. And a lot of times I think most doctors they just go by the lab reference. Like if the lab reference says the lab is normal, then they're like, oh yeah, everything is normal. But I don't read my labs like that. There are many labs that is still considered normal, but they're actually abnormal. So, but I'm not gonna talk about this here. Okay. Um. Okay. Facebook giving me a message, but I don't understand. So let's skip that. Anyway, so I don't just use the lab reference. I have my own kind of reference for labs, and that's something that I go over with the patient if it's something available. So I look at labs. Your other dietitian might not look at labs. I look at a lot of labs. Um, because I love numbers. Except I don't count calories. That's something you'll learn from me is I don't count calories. I think that's bullshit. Anyway, so let's get started and answer some questions. So let me log into my phone. And then, like I said, I answered question from the Facebook group about weight loss, overeating, binge eating, autoimmune disorder, and you might be like, why? What's up with the autoimmune thing? Because a lot of people have problem losing weight. They have some kind of underlying autoimmune disorder that is not identified. So anyway, so if you ever have any question on Instagram, on Facebook, just enter your questions in the comment if you want me to answer it now or maybe later. Okay. Or you can just post the question in the Facebook page or inside the Facebook group, or just private message me. I'll do either one. Like whatever way you find convenient to talk to me. I'll answer as long as I see a question. On Facebook, um, Facebook messaging is kind of wacky for me. Like sometimes I can read it from my phone, sometimes I cannot. So that will be a hit or miss. But I think on my page or even on my Instagram link, you should be able to find my email. You can Anyway, so first question, interesting one. So I'm not going to read any names. I'll just read the question posted. So anyone else hate the index? My doctor told me I'm at like a 35 and should be at 25, and I've lost 20 plus pounds so far and still going. When I was in the midst of my eating disorder and weighed 180, I still had a large BMI and I'm so frustrated. Okay, so there's several parts of this question on how I want to answer it. First of all, I want to answer just discuss a little bit what BMI is. BMI stands for body mass index. So basically, it is a ratio of your weight compared to your height. And the equation for those who love math um, is your weight in kilogram divided by your height in meter square. So that's the equation, mathematical equation. You can just go online, Google anything like BMI calculator. You'll find tons of websites that you can calculate that from. But basically, um, in medicine or in health setting, we use BMI as a screening tool. And this person's question is like she hated, and I say I do too, is because BMI is more of a screening tool. It is not something that you should take to heart and take it personally to determine where you're at, because it's a weight weight to height measurement. So we know everyone's composition is very different. I've seen patients who are sent to me with a BMI of 30 something, which is considered overweight. So back up a little bit. So the BMI is a screening tool. So the numbers, this is the numbers. A BMI of 18.5 or below is considered underweight. So 18.5 to 24.9, that's considered a normal range. And that anything 25 to 29.9 is considered as overweight, and anything over 30 is considered obese. And then in the obese category, there are even another three category, which I'm not going to touch up about, since we're not going to put too much attention into how the BMI determines how fit or how um, heavy or what you're supposed to be. Like I said, it's just the numbers. But so this is what the BMI is. So it is a screening tool that we use in a hospital to determine how much a person should weigh. But if we look at weight, what's body weight, right? For most of you who are just not in the medical field, for you the weight is a number on the scale. For us, or at least for me, I'm not going to speak for other dietitians or doctors. For me, your weight is made up of tissue, your organs tissue, your muscle tissues, your bone tissues, and water. 70% of your body is water. And then body fat, the ones that we kind of like cringe about all the time. So that's your weight. So knowing that your weight is just not a number on the scale, then you're like, okay, so that should make more sense now, right? So that means that someone who have more muscle, because muscle weighs a lot heavier than bone. So someone who have heavier muscle, more muscular, will have a higher BMI. So like I work in a military hospital, so I see a lot of active duty soldiers as well, and a lot of them men who work out a lot. And a lot of times I get something like, oh, patient with overweight, like BMI of over 30 or something. And then when the guy walked in, I was like, you're not you're not overweight. Like I was like looking at the patient like you don't have an ounce of fat on you. Like it's all muscle and skin. So that's an example to let you know that you have to take the BMI very slightly. So actually there's people who are advocating to not use the BMI, but again, in the medical community, making any changes like that, it's gonna take like maybe centuries. Maybe 100 years from now, we'll start saying that, oh yeah, the BMI is all bullshit. Don't look at that. So, so instead of looking at the BMI Like even me, that on the BMI, I think I'm like underweight, but I'm not. Um, and and I'm not saying that to make you feel bad, but I'm just trying to tell you that it is not something that you should do because it might hurt your feelings. So there is a better scientific way to measure whether your weight and height is considered healthy, and that has nothing to do with the scale. The the number, let me think. So this one is actually using your height and your waist circumference because um, when it comes to weight, like I said, a lot of times we just focus on the number on the scale, but the weight that you really, really want to avoid is the weight around your belly. Because usually when you have weight around the belly, that puts you at high risk for heart disease. So that's the weight that we're more concerned about. So rather than trying to figure out how much weight you carry on your belly, we just try get the waist circumference. So what you do is your height, whatever height you are, your waist circumference. So you measure, use a measuring tape and measure your waistline at the point of your belly, at the level of your belly button. So that number should be no more than half of your height. So if you're 62 inches, um, let's do 64. That's the average height for women. Say your height is 64 inches. So that means that your waist circumference to be considered healthy should be no more than 32 inches. So that's how you determine, that's a better determination of your weight and your height. Yeah, your weight, how healthy your weight is compared to your height. So that's that. So that's, I think that's how I would answer that question. And yeah, so I see the frustration of this person. Like she lost all that weight and still considered as being big on the BMI, and that's the reason why. Okay, let's go to the next question. Okay, I'm just looking at some of the comments. Yeah, and then of course women have breast, which men don't. So we have more fat from up in the head, our chest, and a little bit around our butt, because we're just a lot prettier than men. So don't get jealous. Okay, let's see. Okay, next question. What other at home workouts can I do? I've only been walking on the tre- treadmill for 3 miles a day or trying two, but I've noticed I've recently been doing 2 or 1 mile on the treadmill because I'm getting so bored with it. Don't you have that same problem? Like you know you need to exercise, but you're just not interested because there's so much other fun stuff to do instead of walking on the treadmill like you know those hamster in the spinning wheels. I have the same problem. Like my friend, he's like he wants to go to a gym every day, but to me going to a gym is so boring. I go on the elliptical, even though they have TV there, I can watch tennis matches, I can watch like CNN and Fox News, like listening to the two channels fighting at each other. But I still find going to a gym very, very boring. And then like lifting weights, I don't like lifting weights, even though they have machines and stuff to use and I know how to use them. It's to me, it's just so boring. So what I'm trying to say is that with exercise, I think a lot of us feel that because we need to lose the weight, so we need to exercise, and we just need to do it no matter what. But this is the thing that I always tell my patient. Exercise does not involve some kind of organized thing. It doesn't involve getting a membership with at a gym or sign up for CrossFit or run a marathon, anything like that. Number one rule with exercise has to be something that you enjoy, something that's easy enough that you can do every day. Because if every day you're struggling with the motivation to even get dressed and drive 30 minutes to the gym to work out, it's not gonna happen. But I rather be simple. I love simple and I love to have fun. So for me, workout is it might be just working out at home, doing yoga, pulling up some dance video and do like a dance workout. There's a lot of things like that, or you can even sign up for. I think Beachbody have something like videos workout that you can just is all on demand. YouTube is great. You can just go on YouTube and look up exercise videos, weight training videos. Exercise, physical activity has to be fun. And I think with all these weight loss things that people dealing with, like the challenges that people dealing with, like making diet change and making lifestyle and exercise habit and all those things, the reason I think number one reason that it is not sustainable. Actually, one of the reason there are many reasons why it's not sustainable. First of all, you're forcing yourself to do something that you don't like. So if it's something that you don't like, that means that it doesn't match your lifestyle and it's not going to happen forever. So it has to be something fun. So if when it comes to exercise, it doesn't that's why I don't even like to use the word exercise or workout. I prefer using the word physical activities because physical activity means that whatever that you do physically. So even if like I'm sitting on a chair right now, but if I start standing up, go walk around, do stuff around the house, as long as I'm not sitting, I am exercising. That's considered exercise. But I think for most people who are trying so hard to lose weight, they feel like they have to do all this intense workout, but it is not. Most of my patients who lose weight, I actually make them stop exercising. I tell them, you're exercising way too much. You're stressing your body up and you're pushing your body into survival mode. You're not losing weight because your body is in stress. So exercise for women, the best workout routine for women is actually very gentle exercise, like doing something like yoga or some dancing at home. Like I'm not saying you shouldn't do anything too intense that you're out of breath. A little bit of stress, control stress is good for you. Control stress meaning that it is something that stress your body, but it stop. So kind of like a dance exercise will be great because you're having fun dancing to your favorite music and then you stretch your body up a little bit and then it stops. Chronic stress is what kills us. Those are stress that you have it every single day and you just can't stop. So some of that could be like mental processing, like telling yourself that things will happen, things like that. But basically, any kind of physical activities that you can do around the house, doing folding laundries, cooking, walking around, playing with your kids, gardening, going grocery shopping, bring grocery back in the house, cooking in the kitchen. As long as you're on your feet, moving, doing something, you are exercising. And if you still don't believe me, there are actually studies to support that. There's this study. Okay, I don't remember all the details, but I'm gonna try the best. So there's this study that look at hotel mates. So forgot what's the objective, but this is the results. So they look at the activity level of the hotel mates, right? So if you ever stay in a hotel, there are hotel housekeepers who walk around all day, changing bed sheets, cleaning bathroom, vacuuming, doing all of those things all day long, right? So that's their job. So it's a pretty physically demanding job, right? So what they do is they take these hotel mates, like I think in couple hotels. So they have these mates sit down and divide them into two groups. One group they just give them like just some generic like health information and stuff, and then send them back to going and work. And then the second group, this is the study group. With the study group, they give them the same kind of lecture, but instead of giving them very generic stuff, they said, you know, physical activity could be anything. Exactly what I just told you, right? Could be like just walking around, doing stuff around the house. As long as you're not standing, you're exercising. So that's what they learn. So after a period of time have passed, they look at these two groups of hotel housekeepers, hotel maids again. And what they found is that the group that they didn't do much, the control group, that they didn't give them the special instruction, they kind of stays the same. Then the other group, the second group, the study group where they explain to them that, hey, even though you didn't run a marathon, run 2, 3 miles every day, but you're exercising. Just the fact that you're at your job, on your feet all day, changing sheets, washing, um, cleaning the bathrooms, and vacuuming, all of those are considered physical activities, and those are still good and still beneficial for your health and everything. So, with the second group, what they found is that the second group actually lose weight. Just knowing that advice and changing that mindset and understanding that, oh, I don't need to be exercising in the gym or anything. Like my work, what I do at work is actually considered exercise. So that second group, the study group, they actually found that these women, just by changing that mindset, understanding that they were exercising, or in fact was exercising every day at the job, they have, most of them lose weight and then have lower blood pressure because now they know that they're exercising, and you know how exercise help with stress relief, so that blood pressure went down, and then and other um, benefits that comes out of that. So that's something that you need to think about. So with exercise, don't think too hard about what's the best exercise and like, oh, I don't have time for exercise. Just look at your job, like, and don't even worry about counting the steps, just knowing that you're moving. I even have one patient, what he did is like, he just get up every like maybe half an hour from his seat and do like some, I think he might be doing some calisthenic stuff like maybe jumping jacks or push-ups or sit up or something. Like at work, he just do that every 30 minutes or so, and he was losing weight with that because he has a desk job, but we make the change. So so that's something you need to think about exercise. It's not about what exercise you do. It's all about how much you move. That's it. So just go keep moving. Like the song that I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. That's the song. Put that in your brain and keep thinking about that. Okay, so this is the next question. Looking to see what is the best way to lose belly fat. And I know they said you cannot target one area, but I carry all my weight in my belly, and it's such a hard thing for me. I get so bloated after I eat anything, big or small, and it's starting to get warm, and I want to enjoy wearing new summer clothes and not having to worry about looking like a can or busted biscuit. Not sure what those means, and other help is welcome. Okay, looking at some of the comments. Okay, um, okay, belly fat. So she mentioned two things. Want to lose belly fat, and the second thing is she has bloating. So again, we need to look a little bit more under and look at. So even though she said belly fat, I'm 100% sure it's not all 100 fat. It's probably just because her belly is sticking. We just assume it's fat. And and the reason why I say that is because she mentioned about bloating. So when you're bloated from eating food, that extra air that you have in your belly can make you look like you have a big belly, and then you assume it's all belly fat. So there's two parts to answer. Uh, two part answer to this question. Okay, I need to stretch my leg. Ah, excuse me. Okay, two-part to this question. First, we'll answer the belly fat since I started talking about what exactly is in your belly. So in this case, probably is maybe combination of body fats and some bloating. So first, how you get rid of the fat in the belly? Usually, the belly fat is results of stress. So when you have stress in your life, either physical stress, mental stress, environmental stress, chemical stress from the food we eat, what our body does is switch on to the stress mode, which is the survival mode, increase cortisol level, and all of those. So because this is just one simple question on Facebook, and I have no idea of the background of this person, what kind of diet she was on, what kind of lifestyle. So I'm just going to answer it generically. So usually with belly fat, basically you just have to again do the healthy diet. And when me say healthy diet, it means it's a whole, it's a real food, plant-based diet, not a vegan diet. Like a diet that is about 80% plant product and about 10-20% animal protein. That's what I mean. So, and none of the food comes out from a package or things like that. I think a lot of people make the mistakes of like thinking that if it comes from a package and it says keto or paleo on it or healthy, then it is healthy, but it is not. Anything that comes from a package or from a box, from a canned frozen meals, dessert, stuff like that, even if it's a healthy, it is still considered as processed food, but I'm not going to talk too much about that. You can go to my blog and read more about other healthy stuff. But for belly fat, so first of all, you have to eat healthier, more plant stuff, so more fruits and more vegetables and less fruit. Fruit should be something that is consumed about one serving a day, because even though fruit is healthy and is a lot healthier than eating a candy bar, but fruit is still have a lot of sugar. So we should actually monitor eating fruit or consider eating fruit more like eating a dessert. So and try not to eat it together. And then the other thing is like where that all that fat comes from. So people often think, or at least for the last 20, 30 years, some crooks make us think that fats contribute to fat gain in the body. It is not. Is so probably somewhere in her diet there's a lot of carbs involved, like even like things like perceived healthy carbs. So things like granolas, breakfast cereals, um, those breakfast bar, protein bars, all of those things sound so healthy, but they're actually contributor to a lot of carbs and a lot of unnecessary weight gain. So those are things to be aware of. Um, so carbs, more vegetables. Oh yeah, less processed carbs, more vegetables, and then probably like maybe doing a little bit more physical stuff, like what we just talked about, doing um, some activities around the house, going out for walks, do something that you enjoy, just to bring the stress level down. And then, of course, meditation and yoga, those are really good exercise or activities to do. So, really, the number one thing to reduce belly fats, the actual fat in the belly, is really to change your diet to a real food, plant based diet, and then activities that reduce stress. Oh, and of course, drinking a lot of water to flush out toxin. Because one of the things that why your body store up body fat is really not so much the calorie thing like I always talk about, but that actually goes into the next one. So anything that our body cannot get rid of, especially toxins that can actually hurt us, our body roll that into a ball of fat because fat is actually very insulating. So if there's any toxin in our body that the body can't get rid of because of like the our body drainage system is backed up, and the body is like, ooh, let's roll that up in a ball of fat and keep it in the back. And then when the time comes, we'll get rid of it. So this is what happened in digestion. So I think most of us believe that our stomach is kind of like a garbage disposal. You put whatever food in it, it grinds it all up, and then the body use it and then chunk the rest of it. But this is not how it works. So what happens is when we eat food, there are many digestive process involved. And most of this doesn't involve anything similar to a garbage disposal or blender type of things. But basically, all the food is broken down, and with digestive enzymes, it's broken down to like really tiny little pieces or down to its fundamental units. So will be hopefully most of the food will be broken down to glucose or some shorter chain of sugar molecules and 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 then amino acids and fatty acids, and then vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. So, in order for our body to absorb any of those things and use it, we need to have the proper digestive properties. So the environment needs to be right. So the acidity in the stomach has to be right. The alkalinity in the small intestine has to be at the right level. So those are some of the few. And then we need to have the proper digestive enzymes to break down different kind of food, because digestive enzymes, just like any other enzymes and hormones, is like very specific. It's kind of like the key to a lock. Not any keys can unlock it. But so it has to be very specific. So what happened is when someone's eating, okay, either two things could happen. Either you're eating food that is not meant to be consumed by human, or your digestive issue or your digestive system is not functioning properly. Like the acidity in the stomach is not correct, alkalinity in the small intestine is not in the proper ratio. Hello. Or you don't have enough digestive enzymes. So if your digestion, one of those things, is not meeting a criteria, you might still be able to digest some of the food, but you might not be able to completely digest the food properly. And when that happens, when your food is not being properly digested, then some of the food that is not properly digested can actually become toxic or poisonous to the body. So, but don't worry, our body is very smart. So you have a very good so-called detox, or I call it drainage system, that can get rid of the junk. But the problem is, if this poor digestion or poor eating habits continue on for a long period of time, you might have a backed up in the digestive system, kind of like a blockage in your sink, kitchen sink, or in your bathroom, bathtub, or anything. So you have all these like yuckiness that is supposed to leave your body, but it's just your detox process is so slow, so it's all getting backed up. And what happened is it has to go somewhere, right? All those junk. So, but the problem is these are junk. These things are toxic and poisonous. So your body's like, we can't just let you push all that garbage back into the system and commit suicide here. So what your body does is it uses fats to wrap all this junk into a ball and then throw it in the bag and store it in the fat. So then, going back to this person's question about the belly fat, so then you kind of have to look into the diet, right? Like what kind of food she eating, and then she mentioned about bloating. So if she eats something, whether it's big or small, and she have that much bloating that cause her belly to stick out, that she's so concerned, chances is either her digestion is not working properly, or she's eating the type of food that her body cannot break down or not suitable for her. So with her, what we can do is look at her diet history and look at what she normally eat, what kind of diet have she ever been on, what kind of lifestyle she live, if she's in a stressful relationship, stressful job, working long hours, no time to take care of herself, those type of things. We look at all of those. So that's how I answer that question. It's digestion, looking at digestion and the diet. Oh, okay. Let's see what's the next question. Oh, and then, so this next one is not so much question, but more like a comment. So it's a picture of, I forgot her name, is Lizzie from Grey's Anatomy. She's eating cupcakes, so the caption of the picture is me saying, I don't know why I'm not losing weight. And then also me is the picture of her shoving a cookie. I think it's one of those junk cookies. I forgot what you call those. Um, is it Little Debbie's or something? Like her shoving one of those in her mouth, and then like, I don't know why I'm not losing weight, and then she's shoving food in her mouth. So yeah, that's the picture. And then people is commenting about like basically how that relate to them, because sometimes they're just so busy going doing their work and not have time to cook and exercise. And I see a lot of the comments about like pretty much like just don't have the time to take care of myself, no time to do the cooking, and then feeling things like that. And the reason why I want to talk about that, like to put my 2 cents in that, is like um, if you follow me on Instagram and on Facebook, you'll notice that I don't just put information on nutrition and diet and like the nutrition part and dieting for weight loss. I also put a lot of try to put a lot of empowering um, information to empower women. Because what I notice is that a lot of times women are not losing weight, have nothing to do, and you hear from me a lot of times is that your weight gain has nothing to do with the calories, how much calories you take in, how much you exercise, but it's how you deal with your life. Because almost all women that I see who have problem losing weight is they always put other people's first. They put the kids first, they put the husbands first, their mother in law, their friends, and their work. They put everyone else in front of them. And that's the reason why I put a lot of empowering messages out there because my goal of that is to help you feel confident to say no and to put yourself um, in front, take care of yourself first. I often explain, I see a lot of moms for weight loss, and the problem is that it's not like they don't have the knowledge to lose weight, not knowing what not to eat and stuff. It's just that they always put themselves behind. It's like when they come and I ask them, so what why do you think this diet didn't work? So they all went through all this diet, right? They've tried everything in the world, under the sun. They lost weight, they gain all back, lost weight, gain all back. It's always like that. And I always ask them, so if that diet is working, what happened? Why didn't you stop? It's always something happens. A holiday happens, family visit happens, kids schedule change, husband schedule change, and things like that. Something always happens, but it has almost never ever have anything to do with them. It's because they just put themselves behind everything else. And when you do that, when you put everyone else's needs in front of you and ignore your needs, you become eventually kind of your cup becomes empty. And to a point, your emptiness can get to a point of negative. And that negative becomes either you becomes resentment because you're like, especially if you notice that you're doing all these things for everyone, right? At work, you're always nice to everyone. Anytime anyone comes and asks you for help, you always say yes. You never say no. Your kids, you clean their room, pick up after them, make all the meals. Same thing with your husband. He doesn't have to do a slick of work when he comes home. You do everything for him. When you're doing all of that, and then you just get so upset, like, I'm doing everything for everyone, but no one appreciate my help, appreciate me, or do anything for me. When you have that feeling, it means that you're giving too much of yourself. That's something that I think we as a woman have to learn in somewhere, sometime, maybe right now will be the best time, is that we deserve as much attention and love as much as your kids, as much as your coworkers, and as much as your husband. We're not their slave. And and I'm not saying this because I'm making this up or like it might sound like bullshit for some of you guys right now, but this is what I see every day with my patient who's trying to lose weight is they just put everyone else needs in front of them. So when they're not getting the needs met, they want something, but they're not asking for it because they're afraid that they don't deserve to ask for it. So they hold up all this resentment and anger. Even though you might not be angry, you just feel like, oh, but my husband works so hard. Oh, but my kids can't do that. you're giving your excuse to do things for them, but at the same time you're giving you too much. Then you have this like unconscious or subconscious resentment, and then you ended up eating because you're stressed. Like I have this woman that I've been working with. Her work is so stressed. She said, my boss just keep giving me more stuff because the other people keep saying no, they can't take this. So I'm the only one who say yes. So my boss keep giving me all this stuff. And I'm working 12 hours a day. I don't have time to exercise. I don't have time to take care of myself or anything. So I was like, so, what's the worst thing that could happen if you tell your boss, no, I don't have time? Or if your boss continue to give you those things, if you don't finish those things after your 8 hours or 9 hours, whatever, what's the worst thing gonna happen? Worst thing is your boss asks you why, and you just say, you know what, that's way too much work for me, right? So you just have to have that ability and that power and that confidence to tell your boss no. Or even like at home, I see a lot of women do everything in the household, cooking, doing stuff, and I did the same thing before. I do everything when I was still married. I was doing everything. When my daughter was still little, I work 8 hours at work, drop her off daycare, come home, pick her up from daycare, bathe her, cook, do everything. And my husband at that time wasn't working and he wasn't doing anything. So guess what? He's an ex now. So it's something that we need to understand as an individual, and not just all women like I talk about, but I think all of us men, women, and something that we need to teach our children is that we all have a voice and we all deserve a space on this earth. And by being on this earth, just the right of being here, you deserve everything. When someone say mean things to you, you're not gonna take it. You just tell them, I don't like how you talk to me. Or your kids like not respectful for you, you need to teach them and just say that I don't like the way you talk to me. That's all you need to do. You don't need to fight, you don't need to be mean. But I think we often feel that we need to be nice to everybody. And it's something that I'm still trying to learn too. Not that just because I'm telling you here that I'm like superhuman and perfect, but it's still something that I'm still learning myself as well. Is that I think from me speaking personally, is that I always have this thought that I need to be nice to everyone. I have to do everything for everyone. If someone asks me for help, I'm supposed to say yes. But now I learn I don't have to. If I say something and I'm not trying to be mean, I'm just saying something, saying my speaking up my opinion, like doing all this live. I'm sure a lot of you who watch this, like, oh my god, what she thinks she is, like that's all bullshit. What you mean like calories deficit doesn't work? Like it doesn't work. And in a few, maybe in next episode or something, I'll talk to you about that. But yeah, calorie deficit doesn't work. So all this live show and my posts and stuff, I'm just speaking up the truth and try to help as many people as possible because like I said, I see women struggling every day with the wrong nutrition advice, and they just keep spinning in circles. Instead of losing weight, they just keep gaining weight to a point that they get so frustrated, they rather have a surgeon just butcher the intestine and thinking that that's the solution. And I also gonna tell you, gastric bypass surgery, weight loss surgery doesn't even work long term. I've seen so many patients gaining all the way back after weight loss surgeries, like not kidding. And even the ones that who didn't gain the weight back, you can tell that they're malnourished because they look at least 10 years older than the age. They have no energy, their eyes are black, their skin color is awful. Like you can tell that they're starving and not happy. So yeah, so basically, let me just summarize it quickly so we can move on. So basically, is what I want to talk about with this comment is we need to empower each other. We need to understand that just breathing and living on this earth, we deserve a space And that means that we can have what we want. If I want my husband to help me with something, I speak up and ask. If you don't want to help me, too bad. I don't know if you should be in my life, but not that extreme. But after he do that consistently, or if they're mean to me, like people who are mean to me, they don't deserve a space in my life. Things like that. We need to learn to take care of ourselves as much as we take care of our kids. So if you have kids, the way to do is like the way to treat yourself is how you treat your kids, right? Like if you know that there's a bully in your kid's class that's bullying him, will you just sit there and not do anything? You probably feel so bad, right? So the same thing, if you have someone in your life who constantly like criticizing you, telling you that oh you're no good, you don't deserve a space here, you're just a waste of space, you're the worst person in the world. What would you do with that if that's someone who's bullying your child? You probably will go up to that person and say, hey, you don't speak to my child like that. I don't like that attitude. You get out of my child's life. If you have someone like that in your life, get rid of that person. Move it away because you don't deserve that kind of attention. You need to surround yourself with loving people who loves you and who's supportive of you. When you're around these people, you feel good, so you know who they are. So that's part of the self love thing, because I think a lot of misconception on the internet and media and saying like making something simple like self love is like, oh, go and have a bubble bath or having manicure pedicure. That's just something you do to take care of yourself. But self love and self care is really putting yourself in a situation that you can thrive. It's just like your kids, like what school you want your kids in, what kind of friends you want your kids to have, that kind of thing. Not just simply doing superficial things to yourself. Is feeding your brain. Okay, where's my phone? Okay, I might be going in circle, but it's okay. You got my point. Let me see if I want to answer this. Okay, I'm trying to figure out how many calories a day I need in order to start losing weight. I know calorie deficit is a great way to lose weight. No, 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 no. I've tried my fitness pal. No, 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 no. But it seems like quite a bit of calories a day to lose weight. Any suggestions? Okay, calorie deficit. Uh, okay, we're kind of running out of time, so I'm probably going to answer this in more detail next time. First of all, number one thing is calorie deficit doesn't work, and there are many studies to support that. And like I said, I'll talk about that next time. Um, so she said calorie deficit is a great way to lose weight. No, it is not. Studies after studies show that it doesn't support long-term weight loss. And most of you, if you're here listening, you know that it doesn't work. You go on a deficit and then you go back. So you initially you might lose some weight with calorie deficit, but you always gain that weight back. And next time you do it again, so you just go lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, and then after like a few attempts, you eventually realize that you're doing the same calorie deficit the first time you did it and still not losing weight. And it's because your body is such a brilliant survival machine. Every time that you drop your calories and stop eating as much, it actually shuts down metabolism. So you not only you're actually messing up your metabolism, also messing up your relationship with food, and then over time, also your self-confidence and your self-esteem, because every time you diet and lose weight and gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, eventually you get to the point that you can't lose weight anymore. You could still be eating like 1,000 calories a day and still not losing weight or might even gain weight. I know it sounds crazy, but it happens all the time. Um, and it's usually because your body is not meant for starvation. We think that the calorie deficit recommendation is based on the assumption that if you cut 500 calories a day through exercising and cutting calories, you should be able to lose 1 pound of body fat, 1 pound of body fat a week, right? Because that's based on like 1 pound of body fat is 3,500 calories. So you divide that by 7, that's 500 calories a day. But it's not. The assumption is incorrect, or that recommendation is incorrect because the assumption is that the body metabolism stays the same. So if you usually burn a 2,000 calories a day and then you eat 2,000 calories, but then you drop your calories intake by 500, so you think that your metabolism will still stay at, you're still burning 2,000 calories, so you have a 500 calorie deficit, but it's not. When you drop 500 calories, your metabolism drops 500 calories because that's how your body survives. When you don't eat enough, I'm going to shut down because I don't know when's the next time I'm going to have a lot of food. Plus, our brain is still a primal brain from like thousands of years ago. So our brain, even though we know logically and consciously, my refrigerator is just right out there and have food in there that will last me for a month, our body doesn't know. Even though they know there's a 7-Eleven or McDonald's around the corner that's 24/7, your body doesn't know. Your body only knows that oops, not enough food coming in, shut down. And when your body shut down, you don't have a choice what function is shutting down, and that's where the autoimmune disorder part comes in. Is that when your body is under that survival mode, it shuts down metabolism, shuts down function of the non-surviving mechanism or non-surviving function. So your heart's still gonna pump, your brain's still gonna work, but things that is not needed for survival, like digestion and immunity, those things shut down. Not quite shut down, maybe bump down like many notches. So that's why a lot of times women have hard time losing the weight. They tend to have a lot of digestive problems because your body shutting down, blocking resources going to the digestive tract. So you can still be eating the food, seemingly normal, healthy food, but you're not digesting it because your body just can't absorb all that food because of some lack in functionality. And also immunity, because like when you're in survival mode, you're fight, flight, or freeze mode. So you're preparing to just jump off and start running at every second. So your body's like everything gonna go to the muscle and the tissue. So it raises the blood sugar level in the blood because when your muscle works, muscle wants to use quick source of energy, which is sugar. So your sugar level is high, insulin level is high, but it's blocking all the fats in the back because we need to conserve that as long as possible to keep you alive as long as possible without food. And that can cause some of the autoimmune disorder because your body is like trying to try to survive. So sometimes it might even break down some of the tissue. And when your body start breaking tissue down to to create that resources for your muscle to run at any time at great speed, that's where all the autoimmune um, disorder symptoms comes into place because the way that we say in describe autoimmune disorders or diseases is that the body is breaking the tissue down, and that's exactly what happened during stress or during starvation. Your body's breaking down those tissue for survival. So from the medical point of view, without looking at the survival mechanism, it looks like the body itself is breaking down, and that's why they try to look for um, there's actually no antibodies or anything. It's just that your body's breaking down because it is in survival mode. So some of the symptoms you might notice with autoimmune diseases will be like things like skin rashes, hair loss, asthma is part of it, eczema, um, bloating, digestive problem, chronic fatigue, and pain. Like you have back pain, uh, muscle ache, joint pain, all of those are like a few of the very common autoimmune disorder. And it's crazy. Like I see so many people who struggle with weight issue also struggle with a lot of these issue as well, especially back pain. Like a lot of people have back pain, a lot. And like since I'm a hypnotherapist and I kind of learned some of those body mind connection thing, one of the things that back pain signifies is that a lack of support. So so then again, going back to the previous question or previous my comment about how we're not speaking up, not asking for what we want, that's support. So if you also suffer from back pain, look at your life now. Which area of your life are you not feeling the support that you need? And is it because that support is not available to you, or is it because you're not asking for it because you don't feel that you deserve to to have that kind of attention or help? That's some of the thing. And I really, like I said, the whole purpose of me starting this whole blog and everything is really to help women, and mostly women, because I always feel that women always have the weaker voice, even though we try to say that we're as equal as men. But I think the way that we were brought up is that we need to work our butt off just to get a compliment from our parents, or we have to do so much more than men just to get a raise. So like all these things, we want, like, we as women want to be treated as the same, but at the same time, we're not even treating ourselves like we treat the men. We always look at us as, oh yeah, I don't deserve that. I need to have all these things, have to do so much more for my husband, for him to buy me a very nice gift. Or when someone give you a compliment, you just automatically like, oh no, it's nothing, blah blah blah. Like when someone give you a compliment, just say, oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad you noticed. Something like that. Like really simple. And and I know I might sound like I'm off topic, but I know most people, that's the problem with weight loss. um, the reason why weight loss is not sustainable for most people is that we're just so focused on the physical and the logical part of weight loss, like how much calories to eat, what food, and then what exercise. But what really, really, if you want to have sustained, permanent, happy weight loss, you need to work inside yourself. It comes from the inside, how you treat your body, how you treat you as a person. Say nice things to yourself because you deserve it. And it's something that you need to remember and understand, and fill yourself up with this idea that I deserve a space on this earth. I was put here for a reason, for a purpose. I'm not a waste of space. I totally deserve a space and I have a voice. I can ask for things that I want because everything that I want is available to me. Whenever you give yourself limiting thoughts, limiting beliefs, like, I want to lose weight, but eating healthy is expensive, or I want to lose weight, but I have the fat gene because everyone in my family is fat, or I want to lose weight, but I don't like to eat vegetables. I want to lose weight, but so every day you have this idea that you want to lose weight, but at the same time, you're giving yourself conflicting beliefs that you want this, but so you add in this limiting belief. But once you start changing the dialogue with yourself and say, you know what, I really want to lose weight. I don't like vegetables, but maybe I'll try to look up different recipes. There might be some vegetables that taste really good. Or I want to lose weight. I don't have time to exercise at the gym. Maybe I'll find more creative way to exercise. Maybe it's just every morning, first thing in the morning, I do two push-ups or a couple minutes of plank just to start, right? Because the thing is, you need to have a very clear vision and goal of what you want to achieve. Once you have the direction of knowing with unwavering belief of what you want, also believing that what you want is available, your body and your mind will actually become hyper focused towards that goal. But if every time you want to lose weight or want to eat better, but you give yourself all this excuse why you can't do it, you just end up in the same spot. So it's kind of like trying to drive your car forward or drive your car, but you have your brake on and you're like keep pressing on the gas pedal, but the car's not going anywhere because duh, you have the brake on. So you have to unlock your brake. And in your case, unlocking those or letting go of all those limiting beliefs that you can't. So anyway, that's it for today, and I'll talk to you again next week, and we'll talk more. Like I said, anything that you want me to answer regarding weight loss, binge eating, overeating, um, and what's the last one? Autoimmune diseases. Put it in the comment, message me, whatever way that works for you, and it'll somehow find a way to me. Don't worry, it always does. So, and yeah, follow me, join my Facebook group. You can search Facebook group for weight loss, overweight, binge eating, and autoimmune disorder. And yeah, come have fun with us. Okay? All right. I'll talk to you all again next week. Have a good Sunday. Bye. And have a good week coming. Bye bye.